What if I told you that the reason you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, and like you are spinning your wheels is not because you are not doing enough, but because you are doing too much of the wrong things? And what if the secret to extraordinary results is not adding more to your plate, but ruthlessly eliminating everything that does not matter? Today, we are diving into Greg McKeown's game-changing book, Essentialism, The Disciplined Pursuit of Less. A book that will completely transform how you think about productivity, success, and what it means to live a meaningful life. Published in 2014, Essentialism was written by Greg McKeown, business strategist and speaker who has worked with companies like Apple, Google, and Facebook. After observing countless high achievers burn out despite their success, McKeown discovered a counterintuitive truth. The most successful people are not those who say yes to everything, but those who say no to almost everything except what truly matters. Essentialism is not about getting more done in less time. It is about getting only the right things done. It is the disciplined pursuit of less but better, focusing your energy on the activities that will make the biggest difference in your life and work. The first essential principle is learning the power of choice and taking ownership of your decisions. Most people operate under what McKeown calls learned helplessness. They believe they have no choice but to say yes to every request, opportunity, or demand placed on them. They think they must attend every meeting, accept every project, and respond to every email immediately. Essentialists understand that they always have a choice, even when the options are not ideal. They recognize that not choosing is still a choice. It is choosing to let others decide for you. The first step to essentialism is reclaiming your power to choose deliberately rather than reactively. Consider Jennifer, a marketing director who felt completely overwhelmed. Her calendar was packed with back-to-back meetings. Her email inbox had over 2,000 unread messages, and she was working nights and weekends just to keep up. She felt trapped and believed she had no choice but to say yes to every request from her boss, colleagues, and clients. After learning about essentialism, Jennifer realized she had been giving away her power to choose. She began asking herself, is this essential? Before committing to anything new, she started declining meetings that were not directly related to her core responsibilities and delegating tasks that others could handle. Within a month, Jennifer had reclaimed 15 hours per week and was producing higher quality work because she was focused on what truly mattered. By taking ownership of her choices, she transformed from feeling like a victim of circumstances to becoming the architect of her own schedule. The second principle is developing the ability to discern the vital few from the trivial many. This concept, based on the Pareto principle, recognizes that roughly 20% of your efforts produce 80% of your results. Most people spread their energy equally across all activities. But essentialists identify which few activities will create disproportionate impact and focus intensely on those. This requires developing what McKeown calls disciplined thinking, the ability to step back and evaluate opportunities with clarity rather than emotion. Take Michael, an entrepreneur who is running 3 different businesses simultaneously. He was working 80 hours per week, but his companies were growing slowly, and he felt exhausted. Michael believed that more activity would lead to more success, so he kept adding new projects and initiatives. After applying essentialist thinking, he analyzed which business was generating the most profit with the least effort. He discovered that one of his 3 businesses was responsible for 70% of his total revenue, but was only receiving 30% of his attention. Michael made the difficult decision to sell his 2 less profitable businesses and focus entirely on the one that had the highest potential. Within 6 months, his remaining business doubled in revenue, and he was working 40 hours per week instead of 80. By identifying and focusing on the vital few activities that produced the greatest results, Michael achieved more by doing less. The third principle is creating space for exploration and deep thinking. In our hyper-connected world, most people are constantly reacting to the urgent rather than focusing on the important. Essentialists deliberately create time and space for exploration, reflection, and strategic thinking. They understand that without quiet time to think deeply, They will always be caught in reactive mode, responding to whatever demands the loudest attention rather than making proactive choices about what deserves their focus. Sarah, a successful attorney, exemplifies this principle perfectly. She was known for her quick responses and availability, often replying to emails within minutes and taking calls at all hours. While clients appreciated her responsiveness, Sarah realized she was spending her entire day in reactive mode and never had time for strategic thinking about her cases or career. She decided to implement what she called thinking blocks, 2 hours each morning when she would turn off all notifications and focus on her most important legal work. During these blocks, she would analyze complex cases, develop innovative legal strategies, and plan her long-term career moves. The results were remarkable. Her legal arguments became more sophisticated. She started winning more challenging cases, and she was promoted to partner faster than anyone in her firm's history. By creating space for deep thinking, Sarah transformed from being reactive to being strategic, which elevated both her performance and her career trajectory. The fourth principle is learning to say no gracefully but firmly to non-essential requests. This is often the most challenging aspect of essentialism, because most people are conditioned to be helpful and accommodating. However, essentialists understand that saying yes to one thing means saying no to something else, and often that something else is more important. The key is developing what McKeown calls graceful no's, ways to decline requests that preserve relationships while protecting your priorities. David, a software developer, struggled with this constantly. He was known as the person who would always help with any technical problem, regardless of his own deadlines. Colleagues would interrupt him throughout the day with questions, requests for help, and last-minute projects. While David enjoyed being helpful, he realized his own important projects were always delayed because he could not say no to others. He developed a system for graceful no's. When someone asked for help, he would say, "I would love to help you with this, but I am committed to finishing my current project by its deadline. Could we schedule time next week when I can give you my full attention?" This approach allowed him to decline immediate requests while still offering help at a more appropriate time. David's productivity increased dramatically. His own projects were completed on time, and his colleagues actually appreciated his responses more because when he did help them, he was fully present and focused. The fifth principle is building systems and routines that make essential activities automatic. Essentialists do not rely on willpower or motivation to focus on what matters. They create systems that make the right choices easier than the wrong ones. This includes designing their environment, schedule, and workflows to naturally guide them toward essential activities and away from distractions. Lisa, a writer working on her first novel, provides an excellent example. She had been trying to write her book for 3 years, but was constantly distracted by social media, household tasks, and other obligations. Despite her best intentions, she would sit down to write and find herself checking Facebook or doing laundry instead. Lisa decided to build a system that would make writing automatic. She rented a small office space with no internet connection and only brought her laptop and notebook. She scheduled writing time from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every day before her other responsibilities began. She also created a ritual, arriving at the office, making tea, reviewing her notes from the previous day, and then writing for exactly 4 hours. Within 6 months, Lisa had completed her novel. By creating systems that eliminated distractions and made writing the easiest option during her designated time, she achieved what years of good intentions had not accomplished. McKeown also introduces the concept of trade-offs. The reality that you cannot have everything and must consciously choose what to pursue and what to sacrifice. Non-essentialists try to do everything and end up doing nothing. Well, essentialists embrace trade-offs as the price of excellence, asking not, "How can I do both?" but "Which one should I do really well?" Another powerful concept is the 90% rule for decision-making. When evaluating an opportunity, if it is not a clear 90% yes, then it should be a no. This prevents you from saying yes to mediocre opportunities that will prevent you from saying yes to extraordinary ones. Most people say yes to 60% or 70% opportunities and then wonder why their lives feel mediocre. The book also emphasizes the importance of uncommitting, regularly reviewing your existing commitments, and eliminating those that no longer serve your highest priorities. Just because you said yes to something in the past does not mean you must continue it forever. Essentialists periodically audit their commitments and courageously eliminate those that have become non-essential. So there you have it, the core principles of essentialism. Take ownership of your choices. Discern the vital few from the trivial many. Create space for exploration and deep thinking. Learn to say no gracefully but firmly, and build systems that make essential activities automatic. These principles are not just productivity hacks. They are a philosophy for living that will help you achieve more meaningful results with less stress and effort. The beauty of essentialism is its simplicity and immediate applicability. You do not need special tools or complex systems. You just need the discipline to consistently choose what matters most and eliminate everything else. This approach works whether you are a student trying to focus on your studies, an entrepreneur building a business, or anyone who feels overwhelmed by the demands of modern life. If this video has inspired you to start living more essentially, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you do not miss our upcoming productivity and personal development videos. I would love to hear from you in the comments. What is one non-essential activity you could eliminate from your life this week?